Hey everybody, it's Greg here at the Joy of Aquascaping. In this series I'm going to be going through what I'm doing with my 125 litre long fluval tank. Now this tank I've had probably like nearly 10 years, if not more, and I have no lid for it. I have no lights because they were built into the lid. I have no filter because that started to come away, so I cut it off. I have just the bare tank, but I had something really cool in mind for it. Now I'll be aquascaping this tank and it's going to take a while to do, so this will be a series that you can follow on with me and I'll keep you up to date on the progress as we're going along with it. Now the tank as it stands is really, it's in a state. I have to do a water change now at the moment and siphon some sediment off it because I had a tank, a small tank, which I had no inhabitants left in. I just had one fish in it and it was well cycled. And when he passed, I decided rather than waste the cycled aquarium, which I wasn't going to use, I transfer all of the media over to this aquarium. Now, when you transfer media from one aquarium to another, it can be pretty messy. And I've transferred that and it kind of silted up. I've done a water change, but it's still a bit cloudy. But the water is perfect. The soil, the sediment and the substrate is biologically active. And I have a cycled hang on the back filter now at the moment. Now I decided rather than just trying to keep a fishless cycle going on, I had some beautiful little celestial pearl danios in the store that I decided I wanted to transfer into this tank. So I picked up about 15 of those yesterday. So they're still kind of settling in. They're really shy, and I have a couple of little areas in the tank kind of, now like I said, it's not pretty, but a couple of little areas in the tank where they can all kind of hide from each other because the males can be pretty brutal. The dominant male can be pretty brutal on the rest of them. So 15 is a good number. There's a good mix of males and females, and there's plenty of space for the subdominant males to hide. So let's take a look at the tank now and I'll show you what I've got going on, and please just bear with this. This is going to be about the progress of this tank. You have to start somewhere and it's not pretty, but here, let's take a look. Okay, so like I said, things aren't pretty. As I get in here a bit closer, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see I mixed in a little bit of extra substrate with the substrate that I had, which was biologically active. And there's just a little bit of sediment that's kind of settled down. Now the sediment or the substrate that I used was just a normal aquarium sand. And I also used, let me see if I can get it here. So there's some of this stuff here. So JBL Floristart. So I just had a bit of this left over. So that's what I decided to use because I do want to have this planted up. And yeah, I just kind of had it lying around. So I decided I would add a bit of that in. So the aquarium. I had a couple of pieces of Mapani wood, just one or two rocks that I used to kind of make a little kind of cave for them there, which they will swim in and out. But you can see as I'm kind of moving around, there isn't too much by way of signs of life going on, other than see if I can find here for you one of these little snails. And there's lots of them. You can see his shell isn't really thick because they were breeding like crazy and they used up an awful lot of the minerals that were in the water, so there isn't too much. But you can see it looks pretty quiet for a tank that has 15 fish. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can get up all this kind of remaining sediment, which I have to say that is one thing that I find about the Floristart is that there's quite a bit of that sediment kind of mixed in. But in saying that, there is good plant growth. I actually kept these guys here and these guys here just in a bucket of cold water for, oh God, like the last month at least. And whereas they don't look super pretty, whenever I do a water change, they're producing good bubbles now. I haven't got CO2 on this now at the moment. I will be putting CO2 on it. Because I do have a canister. Oh, there's some of the guys now. See, when they're out and they're active, they're really cool, and they are starting to colour up just a little bit. But again, like I said, you can see she's not looking the best she ever has. So, like I said, I don't have a light, so I am a photographer by trade, have been for years. So I had a couple of LED panels lying around. So this one here is pretty good. I use this for product photography, and I use this for portraits and as a modeling light, and I'll show you. It's a young Nuo. Whoa, see, it's pretty bright. It's a young Nuo. Let me see if I can get the information here. Digital YN 600L. And goodness, it puts out a lot of light, like a lot of light. It's brilliant. And I am just using that now. It's balanced over the tank, and this supports some serious plant growth. So I just said I throw it down. Now, danios are from they're from a couple of pools that are really brightly lit and have dense plant growth. So I decided I'd just try replicate it for now while I had them in the tank and keeping it cycled, because the plan for the tank is to have celestial pearl danios in it, but some shrimp as well, and that is pretty much it. Maybe some autosynclus, one or two, just to help with algae, and because they're a super friendly fun fish. But we can see the guys here, really, really shy, but they are kind of starting to come out of their shell a little bit. So yeah, so that's the tank. So now it's time for a water change. Oh yeah, just before I show you, see, I just have a small Marina hang on back filter here now that I'm using at the moment. It's just creating just enough turnover in the tank to keep me happy. Now this is just a small LED light that I had kind of lying around from one of my nano tanks of old, so I stuck that on. But yeah, I just threw one of my other pictures in the background there just to kind of have something behind it. I'll put something in there nice. I'm kind of not sure yet whether I'm going to go for a black background or actually use one of my images, but we'll see how it goes. But that is it so far. You can see they're pretty shy, but they're an awesome fish. So yeah, now it's time to do a water change. So there we have it. It doesn't look like, probably doesn't look like there was a whole lot of difference there now at the moment, but that's okay. It'll settle down soon enough. But there was quite a bit of sediment came out there, so I'm pretty happy with that. Fish didn't seem to really mind either, so that's pretty good. Yep. We'll get there. We'll get there. It's crazy how just how much, like by way of macronutrients and stuff, are in regular tap water. Now I treat all my tap water in advance of adding it in. My tap water is pretty good. It's on the soft side and slightly acidic, just barely acidic, so it's pretty good. And yeah, it's amazing. Every single time you add tap water in, especially these Anubis, just start pumping out bubbles, which is fantastic. It's great to see the growth. It does make a difference, and it's the same with all the plants. So for people who have planted tanks and they're wondering why their plants aren't growing, make sure you're doing water changes, because there are nutrients in your tap water that are hugely beneficial to them. Love bubbles just bursting out of this now, where there was almost none earlier on. Because this isn't by any means a high-tech planted tank. There's no carbon or anything being added in at the moment, or no CO2, apologies, carbon dioxide. So I will be adding that in at a later date, and we'll feature that in a video sometime in the future. Now, some people consider snails to be a pest. Me personally, I think they're awesome. Now, they do a bit of pooing, as you can see this chap down here now at the moment, but they do eat plenty of algae, and that is cool by me. Actually, when I started this tank up, I left the lights on for a couple of days straight just to give these guys something to do. Now, these came across from my last tank, and I purposely moved them across because, to be honest with you, I think that they're really cool. I'll probably add in some nearite snails. Now, the great thing about nearite snails is that they will not breed in your aquarium because part of their life cycle has to happen in saltier water than our aquarium contains. So, they look really cool. They're absolute awesome algae busters. And yeah, they're pretty amazing. So you can see here just south of him on the glass we have one or two little critters in the tank there as well. Let's see if we can get the focus up on them. Come on, you can do it. There's one or two critters you might have seen just south of that snail, and bounce up and down the glass. I'm pretty sure these guys here are gonna have a great time with them as soon as they realise they're there. What an awesome little fish. Can't wait till these guys get fully coloured up. Absolutely love them. Now, in terms of temperature, these guys like it just on the slightly cooler side. So I tend to keep my aquarium about 23 degrees usually. For them, that seems to keep them pretty happy. With a bit of luck, these guys will probably start spawning soon enough once they settle in, because they can spawn every single day. The group of 15, once they settle in, shouldn't be a problem. Having a couple spawn. This dense plant growth is going to be enough that if they do spawn in, we'll be able to hold on to some of those fry. See, they're chilling out back here. That's why I didn't disturb that when I was doing my siphoning, because I just wanted them to still have their little area that I know they enjoy hiding in. It's very important that you give these guys somewhere that they can hide as well, because they will get stressed out if they can't. But yeah, it's again on the slightly cooler side for these guys. I think the last thing that I actually kept in this tank was discus. I had some small discus that I was growing out in this tank, and they started breeding. Yeah, so it was running a lot warmer then. But because I don't have a lid for this tank, and I live in Ireland, which isn't particularly warm, it's probably for the best that I'm keeping something that likes a cooler temperature, because it can be hard to keep 30 degrees up when you've got no lid on in Ireland. So that's it for part one in the 125 tank build. There's loads more. Oh, give me a second to fix that. Okay, so let's try that again. So that's it for part one in this video series on the 125 litre here behind me. Now, this is the start of what's going to be a seriously aquascaped tank. I have lots of stuff to get for this tank, and what I'm going to be doing is unboxings and showing you how I'm building it, and we'll build this tank together. So if you'd like to see that and keep up to date with this series, make sure that you hit subscribe on the channel. We have to start somewhere, and we're starting here with this tank. I think it's a pretty good place to start. Now, there's going to be loads of other videos on this channel. I work in a fish store, and I'm responsible for hundreds and hundreds of fish every day. So I'm going to be doing unboxings. I'm going to be showing you species profiles, showing you behavior of fish, breeding behavior, and how the sex males and females, all sorts of different stuff as well. Some really cool tips and information on how you can keep your aquariums as healthy as possible. So thanks very much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and I will see you in the next video.